Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash, or The Flash, Season 7. So we're only a couple of months into this, extended break that not just the DC TV shows, like the Arrowverse shows, they're all facing, but also pretty much most television shows are facing due to all the shutdowns that took place, like, a few months ago. But they're starting to lift now, and in the next, several weeks or so, even more will lift. Now in this video, we are going to be going over a couple of things. One is very interesting and looks like it will provide a different season than what was, I guess, originally planned, and maybe even than what we even expected to see, and also a little update to filming and when that's all going to be happening. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know your various opinions in the comment section down below. What's your immediate reaction, especially to the bigger stuff we talk about in this video? Let me know all of that in the comment section down below. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, why not drop a like on it to show support, help support the channel. So first up, we have a piece from Deadline, or Deadline.com. Is it Deadline.com? Yeah, Deadline.com, who were reporting on information they received personally in regards to return dates for filming for various shows in Vancouver specifically, which of course is where the large majority of the Arrowverse shows do film, well, their shows. But yeah, this is what Deadline had to say about upcoming filming resumption. Is that a word? It is. Let's go with it. I hear The Good Doctor is eyeing a late July Season 4 production start. I've heard July 20 and July 30 as possible dates. A Million Little Things is eyeing an August 10 to August 24 Season 3 start. Supernatural has been aiming for an end of July start to finish its final season before star Jared Padalecki segues to production on his new CW series, Walker. Several other Vancouver-based CW series, which are not slated to debut until January, also are cautiously plotting a return to production. The list includes Riverdale and The Flash, which are eyeing a possible restart in August to September, and Charmed, which is being rumoured for a potential August 10 Season 3 start. So overall, my thoughts on this, it sort of emphasizes the point that it is going to be on that bridge point on August, September, so like September the 1st, potentially, for example, being a filming start date. If I had to give a prediction, just my thoughts on whether it's going to be August or September for The Flash, they do have an episode pretty much done outside of some tinkering that will have to be done. So of course that was what was meant to be episode 20 of season 6, which is going to be episode 1 of season 7 now. The only thing that factors into that is if they have to deal with the whole Hartley Sawyer situation or the Ralph Dibny situation, and whether that's going to result in a complete reshoot of that episode or a complete reshoot of those scenes with something else or someone else, or filling that time on screen with something else. That's the big question. If that's the case, then August could be potential, because well, hold on, we have to completely refilm this episode or refilm a big chunk of it that we originally had done, and that, needs to be changed up. So August could be, towards the end of August could be in line if that's the case. But the big thing that needs to be remembered is that, there was some legal issues and insurance issues that I had to go over, and also it's important to remember that the cast and I guess maybe some crew, I don't think they'd be getting much international crew, it'd be pretty much all local crew. So all the cast, which I think all of them live in America, none of them are actually Canadian, would actually have to go to Vancouver and serve that quarantine period, like in a hotel, or if they have a house there, stay in their house or apartment, whatever it is. Stay in there for 2 weeks, do the quarantine isolation, and then they can actually go to film. So that's a big thing they have to do before they even get cameras rolling. So that's a big thing that needs to be taken in. So that could actually stretch it out to September. They can't just decide the week before. They have to decide at least 2 to 3 weeks before as to an exact start date for filming. So that's an important thing that needs to be taken into account. But next up, focusing 101% on The Flash this time, Eric Wallace, who of course is the showrunner for The Flash, he started last season, did an interview with TV Line talking about season 7 and the changes and just challenges in general that are rising up due to what has been happening around the world. But of course, speaking of last season, we saw the introduction of the graphic novel style approach to The Flash and how it structures its season, where we would see 2 major storylines each season, one for the first half of the season, another for the back half, with its own villain in each graphic novel, which is similar to what Arrow did in some of its seasons, specifically season 2. And I'd always been screaming from the top of the towers, top of the mountains, and that's how all the Arrowverse shows should structure their seasons if they're going to be 20 plus episodes a season. Do it that way, because it doesn't get boring. It remains fresh. You're not stretching a villain out the whole season. So it's good that they've taken it into account with The Flash in season 6. But this is what TV Line wrote specifically around this issue, which includes Eric Wallace's quotes about all of that. Because this is The Flash, there's a huge twist at the end of every season, and that twist is now kind of coming in the middle of the start of the season, Wallace told TV Line. And that has really affected our storytelling for all of Season 7, which is hoped to premiere in January 2021. Wallace, though, chooses to see the ripple effect as yet another blessing in disguise, akin to how Crisis drove the first half of Season 6. Amid the horror and the tragedy of what's coming with this pandemic, if we can find some kind of lemonade in the lemon, it's us having to rethink a few things about how a Flash season looks, given this narrative unpredictability to the season. There are going to be more graphic novels next year, he assured, but they're not going to be broken up in the way I think folks expect. So in regards to my initial thoughts on this, it's fairly interesting because I think it's something that we did expect, was that this twist that was originally a plan for the end of Season 6, which we'd been told was something involving Eobard Thawne or Reverse Flash, is now going to happen episode 3, 4, 5, whenever it happens. However, they might even change what the twist was initially meant to be, and I think in another interview with, I think it was either Eric or Grant, that the episodes would actually lead into that twist this time around, where in Season 6, the twist would just happen at the end of the season. It'd be the cliffhanger. But because you're not spending like, what is it, like 5 months off the show, there's no need to do this big cliffhanger that people think about for those 5 months, because, hold on, it's just going to be next week that episode happens when we see the fallout from it. So there's no need to do that shocking cliffhanger. You can actually lead into that big reveal. So we could see that most likely happen, which was already teased. A big question is whether there's like potentially 3 villains in Season 7. Like we have Mirror Master, obviously, which obviously they're going to try and finish that storyline off in, I guess, the first 3, 4, maybe 5 episodes if they need to stretch it out. They might try to say 3 or 4 episodes. But then you can have another villain after that, which say takes up the next 6 to 8 to 9 episodes, and then another villain after that to finish off the season. We could potentially have 3 quote-unquote main villains in Season 7, which would be pretty crazy. It'd be big, and also it'd be like, well, hold on, are you going to potentially waste a villain by cramming them into this season? Like, what if they use 2 big villains that we could actually see as 2 bigger bads for their own particular seasons, but they cram them into one season? Is that good or bad? I guess it depends on how you want to look at it. But another possibility is that they could sort of mix it up. So they could have like 2 villains sort of in the storyline at the same time, which once again is sort of similar to Arrow with like Brother Blood in Season 2. And you can even argue like Dr. Alchemy and Savitar, for example, there for a bit. They could do that where it's mixed, and then maybe one of those villains is defeated with like 5 episodes to go, and then that other villain completely takes the reins for that last handful or several episodes, whatever it might be, until the end of the season. There's a couple of different ways they could go with it, but obviously Eric Wallace is hinting at that potentially when it says it's a structure that not many people would be expecting to see. So I'm intrigued by it because I love the graphic novel approach. I think it made it fresh, and I was excited to see it in Season 7. But if they still do that, but with a bit of a mix-up and a bit of a change to keep it even more fresh, then I'm all for it. Now, one thing that some of you might be thinking, or you might not even thought about it at all, but they have this massive break now where the writing and the planning should be much better, because I understand that this is network TV. You actually don't get that long to plan a long storyline, especially like 20 plus episodes. You're sort of riding on the go sometimes. Like if you think about it, from the end of the season to when they start filming, it's like 3 months to like, and especially like the end of when the episodes stop airing. So usually they stop airing in like the middle of May, and the shows will start filming the next season around the beginning of July. So there's only about 6 weeks there, 7 weeks for you to gather in what people thought from the previous season's finale, and then how you translate that into a new season and taking what people liked, what people didn't like, and that affecting your writing for next season. Because you got to listen to the fans. If you don't, you end up with a narrow Season 4. And you don't want that. You want to avoid that from as much as you can, because that was the epitome of not listening to what people wanted and what people hated. But yeah, you would hope that's the case here. We'll have to wait and see. And they can actually sort of restructure things, a plan where they take certain characters. And obviously, as I said earlier in the video, there is the Hartley, Sawyer, Ralph Dibny situation. Losing a character and potentially losing 2 characters with Sue maybe gives them more space to better develop things if they need to. But it's going to be interesting to see how they handle it. But this leads into another question, which is how many episodes? Now, they are planning for 22. Obviously, the CW president said they're aiming for full season. So in the case of The Flash, that's 22 episodes. Now, it depends how fast they get through episodes when they start filming again, because there's obviously going to be new restrictions restrictions and regulations. However, no one knows how that's going to affect the shows until they actually start filming. Like, you can theorize all you want, okay, it's going to add an extra 3 or 4 days to each episode's productions, but you don't know until they start filming. It could be the exact same production run, maybe an extra day, maybe. We don't know until they start. If anything, it might shorten some. If they don't have to do outdoors scenes, they can do it all indoor, and it makes it much faster. So that's something that we have to wait and see. It wouldn't surprise me if Flash, for example, gets knocked down to like 19 or 20 episodes, something like that, which is still a lot of episodes, but it's not heaps considering they have to spend time of season 7 finishing off season 6 story, which is probably going to be like 3 or 4 episodes of wrapping it up, even though they can use some of that time to implement stuff they probably would put in the first episode or 2 of the normal season 7 if that was happening anyway. So it's a wait and see situation. It's going to be interesting to see when they start filming and we get like a bit of a idea of how it's running and when they start certain episodes and everything like that. But we only got, you know, about 6, 7, maybe 8 weeks until we find out all of that. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on what we went over. Do you are you curious about this like new style they could be going with because of what's happening? You know, 3 villains or villains running alongside each other. Which one would you prefer to see, I guess? Let me know your various thoughts in the comments about that. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.